The engine is a 1914 from a model 10B, which is a single cylinder, single speed, chain drive motorcycle. It's magneto ignition and inlet over exhaust, which means that the intake valve is actually mounted up on top and the exhaust valve is down below, and they're right above each other. The only thing that I really modified on this engine is we took off the original 1914 cam cover and went to a 1915 style, which has the oil pump built in. It's just a little more reliable. You don't have to worry about a drip oiler and getting that combination right. So it has a feed pump that actually feeds the engine, and it kind of stays within the rules. It's within a year, and most of the single racers, which this bike is, had the 15 style oil pump, which is just a little better setup. So this is the eccentric, essentially, or the bike's transmission. This bike doesn't have a transmission, so what it does is it transfers the power from the bike sprocket to the outside sprocket of the eccentric, and then the inside sprocket goes to the rear sprocket of the freewheel clutch. This is actually the clutch of the bike, believe it or not, and it's engaged or disengaged here, letting the wheel to spin free, but all the chains and the engine keep running. And you can actually change the gearing by changing not only the motor sprocket, but changing the two inner and outer eccentric sprockets. You know, a lot of hunting down and searching parts for this bike, which is, you know, really half the fun of building something like this is the thrill of the hunt. Kind of the ultimate thing to find, you know, outside of a frame. Frames are extremely rare, especially the short couple racers. There's only a few real ones in the world known to exist. Are gas tanks. And a lot of times when you find these gas tanks, you'll actually find them, they'll be more in a shape like the one up there, and holes in them and rotted out on the back. These gas tanks are pristine, and they were really the big hunt. And I have to send a big shout out to Matt Smith at Antique Motorcycle Works. These are tanks that his dad had, and his dad Mike, who was a huge antique motorcycle enthusiast and built dozens of bikes over the years and really knew the early stuff well, had collected these. And when it came time for the Cannonball and I had sent out all my kind of beg letters to everybody, Matt says, hey, I got a set of tanks hanging in the shop that were my dad's that belong on your bike. And so Matt was kind enough to part with these and let me have them, and they really make the bike. You see the original silent gray paint on there, blue pinstriping with the yellow center and the red. It's virtually impossible to find anything like this, especially for this bike. These are 1 year only gas tanks, 1915. There's still the square tank, but they have the cutouts for the valve pocket and the second cutout where the actual carburetor linkage goes, and they're just super, super extremely rare. And so this was quite a day when these showed up here at the shop, and really are the crown jewel of me being able to finish this bike and do this race in September. So they're very special. They wanted to run real gas tanks. This is the biggest chunk of real estate. This is where the name is. And this is where Harley-Davidson really lives on this bike, and this is how people can discern it from any other bike. And so, a very special piece to have on this bike.